May 21st, 8:30 in the morning, trying to get Ushi to school. On the ADV this morning, the main two roads that we normally take back are still closed, but I see people are going through them, and I've been going through them as well. So technically they're being worked on. Hopefully we can still go through there today. It'll save me 5 or 10 minutes. We're a little late today. Hop on. Oh my gosh. This is what I deal with every day, every day, every day. I've got to... Never easy. Little trick, color code your keys, saves you a second. I told her before we walked out the door, get your backpack, like I do every day, and every day she forgets it. Get it out of my way so we can get going. Usually we're late, as always, like every day. Even though it takes her 15 minutes to get out of bed, right? She just lays there and whines. And then it takes her 5 minutes to sit on the toilet. You see the cutest little kids here. I mean, all kids are cute, but they're just out in the streets alone, right? You don't see their parents. I'm sure they're watching somewhere. Or sometimes not, right? Sometimes you'll see a group of kids and they'll be young. They're just out, like it was in America, right? When I was in America, you could be 5, 6, 7 years old and be out playing on the street. I think these parents look out for these kids. Certainly hope so. If you want to be safe passing someone, you honk, because so many times, just like that guy, although I've seen much worse, people will just turn, or they'll turn and look at the same time. And if you see someone and they don't see you, just give a honk. And then they know you're coming around. That's what the honk means. They know you're gonna come around. The default's to the left. Some people do occasionally pass on the right. I used to be a nut job riding motorcycles, and I've had a lot of street bikes. I had a street bike in Italy. I laid down a couple times. I had a ton of street bikes, Gixxers, FZR. I don't remember half of them, but arrogant when I was young. It's easy, you know, it's easy to ride, swing around corners with your knee down, and that's all easy, but when you're going too fast to avoid, you see a little rock in the road. It just takes a little rock when you're laid over like that. Or even when you're riding straight, you can be riding straight and a dog runs across the road, or a kid kicks the ball across the road, or when you're going that fast, you have a lot less options to react. I just think it's cool here that, I think it's so cool that women and young ladies ride scooters. You know, in the US, even if someone was gonna ride a bike, it's almost always a dude. And here it's just normal. A lot of these women can ride 6-speed clutches, no problem. This direction, and I could have turned right there. This is the fastest way to Uchi School. And when we first signed her up, this is the way I thought I'd be going every day. Well, they closed this down forever. But then I figured out I could turn back there and get there as well. And where they both re-meet back up, they closed that down. So then I had to start going the really long way, which added on 5 or 10 more minutes, depending on traffic. The road is still technically closed that I'm going to take, but I've taken it several times, and until they're putting down the concrete, which I'm hoping they're not today, I'll be able to use it. Now, I gear my conversations towards my friends in America who've never been to the Philippines, so if you're watching this and you're like, there's nothing new here, there's nothing new on my channel, right? That's cool. Look at that. I like the glass, all glass top they're doing. I don't know if that's gonna be someone's house or what, but that's what I want. I want an all glass office with a 360-degree view. And it's so inexpensive here to build. You saw that scooter we just passed. I'm not sure if you noticed it, but he took off a lot of the fairings. And they do it, I'm guessing, for two reasons: A, aerodynamics, and B, weight. Because I noticed that usually the fairing pieces they take off are the ones that cup out, and they would act as little wind dams, but they are they're pushing the wind on the engine, so it serves a purpose. So I don't know if you saw that guy. His job was to tell people not to go there. Oh, we've got a trike going. So yeah, if you got a trike going this way, I think I can do it. I want to see him get over the hump at the end though. So we're not supposed to be taking this road. It is closed. And there's not a whole lot of people taking it. You're supposed to live back here, right? Like, that's supposed to be the thing. You're supposed to say, I live in the area where they're doing the construction. There's nothing I can do. So the whole concept of the ADV, oh yeah, he was turning, no blinker, see? The whole concept of the ADV is that it's supposed to be a crossover, a mid-size crossover scooter. So it's got more aggressive gas adjustable shocks. It's got more aggressive tires. It's just supposed to be a sturdier build. You know, the thought is that you can take it off-road to some extent. You're not going to go motocross racing, but of all the scooters they sell here, this is the crossover. Of the mid-size, what I'll call the mid-size. You could call it the large size. In the Philippines, there's not many scooters above 155, 160. But they do make this model in a 750. They make a Goliath ADV. sell it in Thailand. Although, again, a 150, this is a 160. A 160 is plenty. It's plenty. Like I don't even know what the top end is on it. They don't have highways here. Cebu has CC Lex, but even I'm not comfortable doing more than 90 or 100, and even then it's a little iffy. If you don't have your visor down, man, you're just gonna get sand in your eyes. Oh, damn it. So some of the new scooters comes with this feature where when you stop, it turns off, and sometimes I don't pay attention, it'll get clicked on. You'll come to a stop and your scooter will turn off. I always have that off. I hate that feature. So today on the way back, I'm going to go by the, there's a monkey sanctuary here, which I find interesting. They have an area that is, has a big monkey population. But why aren't there monkeys everywhere? Like what, you know, I would imagine monkeys breed like rabbits. Why are there not monkeys just all over the island? You have to go to that one particular place. I'm confident there's other parts of the island that have gobs of monkeys. See, I hate when they do this. It's very frustrating, right? He's just sitting there riding in the middle of the lane. Makes it difficult for, he can't go anywhere, but he's gonna do it, right? He just thinks he owns the road. Younger Bobby would follow this guy and key his car, really. Like, that's what younger Bobby would do. Like, you're just being rude, man. You can't go anywhere, let other people. See what he's doing here? Look at this. Now I'm supposed to pass on the right. All right. Sorry, ma'am. And sometimes you'll just get stuck waiting over there forever. You got to be a little bit aggressive coming out of that gas station because the traffic will back up, and they like to be on right up against the little drainage on the side. You can't get out, and by the time it starts to move again, a whole other line comes up. So if I could go back, there is a downside. I've talked about this before. One thing I dislike about the ADV and the bigger wide scooters like the PCX and the NMAX, and these smaller scooters, the thinner ones, have a kickstart. And Honda, in their, I don't even know how to, I don't know why they would do that. They made it where you can leave the key on and the thing dies. It doesn't beep at you or anything. You can just, when you have the key in the ignition in the on position, the lights are on. And it doesn't take long at all, and your scooter's dead, and there's no way to start it. Now, Yamaha at least will beep at you. So it never happens to those guys. If you walk away from your scooter, because your keys, it uses proximity sensors in your keys. If you walk away from your scooter, it starts beeping at you, saying, hey, you left me on. But Honda didn't do that. As a result, I've been stranded several times. So, yeah, either why not have a kickstart, or at least the beep to let you know that you're leaving your ignition in the on position. I think that's a major failure of the ADV, right? It's one of the most expensive scooters. It may be the most expensive, I don't know. I didn't look at all of them. I kind of liked it because it was the only crossover. But yeah, Yamaha, the NMAX will tell you. But you always have to deal with these roads. Like even in the middle of two nice roads, they'll have some beat up patch that's 25 feet or something, and that's why I opted for the crossover. All right, be good today, do good on your test. I love you. All right, she loves me too. God, someone does. All right. Sounds like my box is open. I'm hearing something rattle. Let me just see. Am I right about this? No. Now we're kind of expected to go into the indoor and out to the outdoor. This is the indoor, but I go out to the indoor because, otherwise I have to circle back around and go through this. And every time you ride over that, you take 1 year off your scooter. That's the rule, 1 year. You can do the math on that. It'll vibrate everything on your scooter to bits. I don't know what the failure, in certain patches of concrete, it deteriorates to this rather quickly. Hopefully they figured that out. Maybe this is some old road, but not very typical of. But I guess it's the big rocks, right? Like they use a lot of, if you look at it, it's not like our concrete that's like a slurry. It's all the big rocks, and they're kind of polished rocks. They're kind of shiny rocks. So what happens, of course, the concrete chips off the top of it. So I'm on my way to the monkey sanctuary now. I'm gonna check it out. Ushi does nothing but complain if we ever don't go straight home. All she wants to do is get on her VR or her cell phone, which I've been taking away from her. So, yeah, she has to earn access to the cell phone now, and I do feel bad when I'm at home. I try to go out, but she just complains constantly. but sometimes I don't give her a choice. I just say, okay, well, we're going for food or lunch or dinner or coffee, whatever. At my age, the best part of my day is having coffee, because there are always some very interesting characters. Both coffee shops that I go to are very open-minded truthers. So, yeah. See this guy struggling to get out? I talked about that earlier. And he may be there for 10 minutes. It's really hard. Honestly, someone was nice enough to let him out. It's not always the case. But everyone's trying to go right here as well, so that's an NMAX in front of me. NMAXs are cool. I could deal with an NMAX. Honestly, I don't think there's any difference now that I've been here a while. Aeroblade, NMAX, ADV, Aerox, they're all, they're all great scooters. And I don't think this thing's gonna go anywhere. Any of those wouldn't. And if it did, by any chance, it'd probably just be down to the tires. Personally, I think the Aerox is the best looking. They put a super fat tire on the back like it's made for drag or something. Yeah, it's just... Alright, well, I'm back in Valencia. I'm heading to Apalong to get some coffee. And the only frustration with a GoPro, the newer GoPros overheat. So I used to think it was the battery. It'd beep at me, I'd take it out of the case, I'd change the battery, I'd go back to recording. Later on I realized the battery still had juice. It's just that the GoPro overheats and it shuts down. So I need to find a different case, or maybe start mounting it, get a mount so I can mount it without the case. Another frustration of not having your visor down is bugs sometimes fly into your helmet. Who would prefer a concrete jungle over this, right? Like, look at this. Look at the majesty of this view, right? Oops. I would much rather live on an island. As far as the GoPro recording, I will say, I'm the one who put it in the case. Maybe it's not designed to be in a case. I'm sure it'll go as long as it needs to without a case. So, but you want to protect your investment. Thing is, I'm on a 160 right now, and I can be on my Beat 110, and there's really not much difference going up this hill. This has 50% more engine, if you will, and the beat climbs it just as well. It doesn't, even with Ushi on back. It's, I think if you're, you know, 250 or something like that, then it might become a factor. I'm a mere 160. So there's two coffee shops I frequent. One of them's called Freak. The other one's called Pedal and Pump. Pedal and Pump's kind of a student, if you will, of Asher, who's the proprietor of Freak, who makes the best coffee in the world. But Pedal and Pump makes some darn good coffee as well. I mean, Asher's taught him how to make coffee, but they're both great places to go, and I really try to support them both. They both have delicious coffee and great conversation and just a wonderful ambiance. And I got to design my own drink here, the Big Wheelie. You can come in and ask for it. Ask for the Big Wheelie. All right, till next time. All right, leaving Pedal and Pump. I'm not sure if there's another, well, there are other coffee shops in Apalong, but Rose and Will and CS are great people, as are the other people who have coffee shops. Station 5 is a great place to eat or snack, and those are just the two that I know. I'm sure when I drop in the others, I'll have great things to say about them as well. It's just about getting out and meeting the people in the community. They all want to talk. They'll talk to you all day long. There's no lack of friends here, that's for sure. Like if you're living a life somewhere, and look at that. Oh, I thought she was riding barefoot. And you're having a hard time, although maybe it's just your personality. There's plenty of people that, in places you can go here, that people would just enjoy talking to you, hearing your stories, listening what it's like to live in the U.S. or wherever it is you're from. That's different than their culture. Oh, this is interesting. They blocked that off. No trespassing. Private property, no trespassing. That's new. Okay. Little resort here. I haven't been to that resort. I forget the name. I can't remember the name. But I kind of prefer Port Royale. Port Royale. That's aside of the one instance where the kid peed in the pool, just stood up and peed in the pool, and the parents encouraged him. It's always enjoyable. Just to be safe here, you should always use hand signaling. You should always use your hand and wave which way you're going to turn. I was looking for a riding group. I shared this story before months ago, but I'll quickly summarize it. I guess I reached out and the leader of the group replied, "Do you know how to hand signal?" And if you've ever seen their hand signaling here, it's not like a certain kind of like, they just wave which way they're going to go, right? And that is their hand signaling. It's just, but I'm like, do I know how? Like, you mean, opposed to I had never seen it before in my life, and you could explain it to someone in like 10 seconds or less? I don't think it's something you need to know. It shouldn't be a prerequisite, right? Maybe just tell anyone who hasn't driven in the Philippines before that it's safer to signal, which should be common sense. But as if I hadn't been to a class on waving on my arms. I thought that was interesting. Never assume one street has right of way. Never, ever, ever, never make that assumption. You could be on a 4-lane highway crossing over a dirt road. Do not assume the bigger road has right of way. I've learned that the hard way. Diversion road, it's the wider of the road the entire way, and every single point of the way, all the little roads that cross it assume right of way. They all just ride right across. How that happened or came to be, I have no idea. So always be on the lookout for a cross street and never make the assumption that you've got right of way. See all these people wearing face masks. Not everyone does, but if we were out at night and I just were riding with my headlight on and stopped my scooter, you would see all the dust that stirs up. And you can see this in several of my videos. And unless you're the only one on the road, if there's anyone in front of you at all, I really agree, you should have on these face masks. And you definitely need a visor, because this stuff is just going in your lungs and in your eyes. I do have my visor down right now. And I did buy a face mask that you breathe through, and I meant to wear it, but I can't stand how it smashes my nose. I'm gonna end up with a flat nose. Not quite 11 yet. Ushi gets out early. This is her last week and they have testing today. And she gets out at 11:45. Leaving a little early, quite a bit early actually. Get a different mount for this helmet that puts the GoPro on the top of the helmet, because when I have the GoPro on the front, it constantly pulls my helmet down above, it actually pulls it over my eyes. It's a constant issue, and I feel the additional weight pulling down on my neck. So back behind me, is where the sulfur vents are. It's a couple kilometers, but if you go back that way, that's where the monkey sanctuary and the sulfur vents are. And it's also where Tierra Alta is, which is the upscale kind of 90210 neighborhood is. And there's some other nice neighborhoods as well, but I think Tierra Alta is probably the most well-known. And you just have a straight shot into Dumaguete here. There's, you know, one or two turns if you're trying to get to Robinson's Mall. A little bit different. Dumaguete didn't have quite as much to do as Cebu. They have one mall, and it just doesn't have much going on. There's just, but if you were to go to Cebu, you'd have tons of malls, just absolute tons of malls. Yeah, man, why don't you turn around, bro? See how much air I can get right here. Joke lang, joke lang. It should be mandatory to plant trees everywhere in the Philippines on the sides of the streets. How? And they don't. Shade is so hard to find in the Philippines, and you know, with their climate, it's so easy to integrate with just a little bit of thinking. But you know, the person living there, they're never going to use it, right? Like if they leave, if they're there, they're in their house, and they don't really. I mean, I hate to say this, but they don't think of other people so much here. Like, if everyone just contributed and planted trees along the side, imagine you just have a shaded cove everywhere you went. Like, that should be a movement in the Philippines. Shade the streets. The Shade the Streets movement. And then the Philippines, the desirability would go up tenfold. Because it's one of the few. You want to be out in the Philippines, you want to be out, but you're in the heat. And I wear these things, right? And they do let it breathe, because the part that doesn't hit the sun is like really breathable, and the top part does a better job. I don't care how silly it looks. It's not about looking good. It's about protecting yourself from the heat. You'd say, Bobby, that's black. Black or not, take it off and you tell me what's hotter. This guy's got on a jacket. I can guarantee you if he takes it off, he's going to be hotter. He's not wearing that because he's cold. See this lady? She's got on a jacket. This kid's got a long sleeve shirt. That girl's got on a jacket. See that guy? Oh, I bet he had a long sleeve shirt. But most of them will. It's the sun's rays are what does it. 99% of people, or not, at least 9 out of 10, they're going to have long sleeves on. Because it's really not hot. It's just the sun. The moment you get in the shade, it's cool. So join me in my movement, Shade the Streets. I think I'm starting that right now. It's official. It has begun. I'm the first member of Shade the Streets. Let me know if you want to join my Shade the Streets Philippines movement. You will get a badge. Make sure you get a very important person VIP badge. I've been riding this thing for days, and I go all over. I go from Dumaguete to Valencia to Dumaguete to Valencia, and I've still got over a half tank. And it's a few dollars to fill this thing up. if I were, this is something you want to experience in Cebu. This right here, right here. This whole way, look at this. I'm doing 54, which is as fast as I want to go. I'm not hot because the wind is, everything's breathing on me. I'm on my scooter, I'm safe, I got my helmet on, I'm not going fast enough to kill myself unless I slide under a dump truck. I'm comfortable, gas is cheap, life is good. Why would I want to live in Cebu? Cebu has more to do, but man, you gotta, it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off. They have better malls. And that's where life happens in the Philippines, in Cebu, in the malls. It's under. It's been said that there is it SM or Ayala? One of them is bringing them all to where the old airport is. So I guess that'd be Cebulan, I guess. Don't quote me on that. But I think the Cebulan airport is moving to Bacong, and either SM or Ayala has bought that area. So how fast can they put that up? I don't know, but man, that'll be a huge, huge, huge. Because hopefully they make it beautiful. Hopefully they do it like SM Seaside. It'll be a tourist destination. And it will change the entire landscape of Dumaguete and Valencia and Cebulan. Cebulan will all of a sudden be a destination. The value of land will go up tremendously in all these places, all the surrounding areas. Holding an umbrella while you're riding, right? I would too. No, I'm not laughing or mocking. Can't go quite as fast. I think it's sad because they sell these these motorcycle umbrellas, and apparently you can get ticketed for it. And I think that's just rude, right? I think that's just rude. It's not hurting anybody. There's far more things that go on that are more unsafe than that in the Philippines. All right, back to recording. Crap.